In this video, let's talk about how to throw a slider and some of the different slider grips that are going to be right for some pitchers and not others, which ones you should tinker with and which ones you should stick with. All that's going to be covered in today's video about how to throw a slider. All right, so we're talking about how to throw a slider today. First, let's talk about slider grips. So understand that the core of the slider grip is overloading the ball to one side. And so how you do that and where you move your fingers around is largely up to you. Lots of players try to get a little bit of traction by catching this seam up here like that. Some are more on the side. You just need to overload one side of the ball and then tinker with your exact finger placement so you can feel like you can catch it really well. But let's talk about how to throw a slider, because the grip, yes, the grip matters, but really you need to understand what you're trying to accomplish when throwing this pitch. So a slider is a combination of forward spin and gyro spin, which is a lot the way like a football is thrown. And that's why throwing a football is a really helpful thing here. So we're trying to get to the front of the ball. The best sliders are still thrown towards their target, and your hand is gonna be like shaking when you release it. You're gonna be a lot to the side of it, but you need to get a little bit to the front, and then you kind of come back through it, and you make this combination of the gyro spin, which is it's spinning like a football, and a little bit of forward spin mixed in. So you're mixing forward spin with gyro spin to make this combination of spins, and that's what makes the slider hard to pick up. So when you throw a slider properly, it's gonna have a short diagonal break. Let's watch a couple MLB pitchers and you can see the way a common slider breaks. Your slider can be more up and down. It can be a little more left to right. It can be different. You just need to get feedback from your catcher and from your catch partners and from hitters you pitch against, maybe if you have inter-squad games within your team, and ask them which slider is sharper, which one's better. They'll give you good feedback. So don't be scared to ask hitters and catchers and coaches, of course, which version of your slider is the sharpest and most effective. One major thing about learning a slider is that you're on the right track when it's not moving much and it's just moving a little bit when you're learning it. You're on the wrong track when you see lots and lots of big sweeping break early on when you're learning your slider. And the reason is the common problem that pitchers face when they're learning a slider is they want to get around it and they want to make it move and they want to see it move. The best sliders are very much front to back and they're thrown through the baseball, just getting to the front of it to impart that spin that we want. So don't get in the trap of trying to see big break when you're playing catch. Your slider will have less break when you throw it slower and more break when you throw it harder. So understand that when you're throwing it with just a little break early on, you're on the right track. When you throw a slider properly, it's gonna mix these combinations of spins that we talked about with forward spin, like top spin, and gyro spin. Those two are gonna mix. And what the hitter will see and what your catch partner will see or your catcher will see is a red dot. They'll see it somewhere either on the front or towards the top of the ball. And that's a good sign that you've thrown the pitch properly. Seeing that red dot is a telltale sign of a good slider. And yes, hitters can pick that up, but it's just part of the signature of the pitch. If sliders were easy to pick up, then they wouldn't swing and miss at them so much on TV like you see all the time. So how do you develop a great slider? Number one, you have to play catch with it and you have to work on it. So understand that you have to play catch and get a catch partner who's going to be communicative with you, who will tell you when your slider is sharper and when it's less sharp, and they can give you some little bits of feedback that will help you improve the way you throw the pitch. Force yourself to throw it about 15% of the time when you're learning it so that you can get enough reps at game speed to start to feel how it is at full speed with the adrenaline going. Yes, you will hang some sliders, and when you hang a slider, it will just basically spin in the middle of the zone like a cement, we call it a cement mixer because it spins but it doesn't move. You'll throw a lot of cement mixers in your career if you're learning a slider, and that's just part of the learning curve. Don't be afraid if you give up a home run on one. It doesn't mean you have to scrap the pitch forever. You still have to force yourself to throw it, and it will get better over time. But if you don't throw it in games, it will not get better. So how often should you throw your slider? I don't recommend pitchers below 14 throw sliders or curveballs. That being said, once you're 14, you should start to learn it and practice it a ton, playing catch and in bullpens, and not use it a ton in games yet. But then when you're 15 and 16, the pitch starts to come along. then you can up the usage of it in games to about 15% or so. So 60% fastballs, 20% changeups, 15 or so percent of sliders or whatever your other breaking ball is. So 60% fastball, 20% changeup, 15 to 20% of your breaking ball. That's a good mix for most pitchers. So thanks for watching. If you're new here, definitely subscribe to the channel. Check out the description below where you'll find my pitching books, my online pitching courses, and other helpful resources for you as a baseball player. Thanks again, and I'll see you here in the next video.